If you have a Amazon Fire Stick, like I do up here, and you've got a screensaver set up on it, you've probably realized the screensaver in the sleep mode, the screensaver has very few options to set how long it waits until the screensaver turns on, and there's no settings in it to set the sleep timer. Its default is set at 20 minutes. So on there you can't change any of them settings, but I have found out a way that you can put in custom settings into that for both the screensaver and the sleep mode. So all you're going to need a computer. What I'm going to be showing you is on the Windows. I know you can do it on a Mac too, but I have Windows, so that's what I'll be showing you on. So let's get into it. There's a couple things that we're going to have to do before you can get in there and change the settings. First thing is there's going to be some settings we got to change in the Fire Stick itself to allow you to be able to access it remotely from the computer. Second thing is that you got to download ADB software onto your computer. ADB stands for Android Debugging Bridge, and it gives your computer the software to be able to use the command prompt to put in commands to change the settings into the Fire Stick. Another thing is that both your computer and your Fire Stick is going to have to be on the same wireless network. It's got to be on the same Wi-Fi system for this to be able to work. Now, I'm not very tech savvy when it comes to doing a whole lot of technical stuff on computers and stuff, but I did a lot of research on this, and what I came to find was I had to go to multiple sources to find different things I need and put them together that made it easy for me to do it. So I'm trying to pass on what I learned and how easy it was for me to do it. That way they'll be easy for you to do it. Now everything you need, I'm going to put, at least for Windows, is going to be in the description below. I'm going to have the links down there that you can go to get the ADB software. This software that I found, this page, it made it super easy to install. It gives you the directions on the website, everything, and it's free. And so I want to pass all this information along to you so it'll be easy for you like the way it was easy for me. All right, the first thing we're going to do is you want to go into your Fire TV. When you go into your Fire TV, go to Settings, and then you're going to scroll over to the My Fire TV option. Once you get into that, go to Developer Options, and this is what you get to when you get to Developer Options. In Developer Options, if these are off, you want to turn them on. Both these from ADB debugging and the apps from unknown sources. Once you do that, back out of that, back to the My Fire TV, then go to About. Then once you select About, go down to Network. And right here, you want to look to this right-hand side over here. And the number we're focused on is this IP address. The IP address is how we're going to connect the ADB on the computer to your Fire Stick. So write that number down. Then after you get done with that, you can exit back out of it. All right. The next thing I want to go over with you is getting the ADB software onto your computer. So go to your internet browser. I use Google Chrome. And this is going to be the website right here. The link is going to be in the description below. Click on that, it'll bring you to this. and then start scrolling down. You'll see this 15-second ADB installer. This thing was super easy to install on my computer. And it'll explain the features and what it is and all. And look right here at install process. It tells you the steps to take. Just follow them steps once you download it. And it'll be super easy. You'll run, when you download it, wherever you save the download to on the computer, click on it, and it'll bring up the prompt command, and these install processes will be in the prompt command. Scroll on down and go down to downloads version 1.4.3. This is the one I downloaded onto my Windows 10, and it worked flawlessly. I had no problems with it. There's also down here, if the upper one doesn't work, you can download this, and it's got some other information that your computer may need up here to be able to do this, to be able to download the ADB. But on my Windows 10, I haven't done really much anything with it, of putting programs on it and stuff, and I was able to download the ADB software from this page, and I had no problems whatsoever. Another thing I want to talk to you about is how the time is inputted into the programming of the Firestick. When you're using the command prompt, it inputs the timeout as in milliseconds. So the default time limits for the sleep timer is 1,200,000 milliseconds. That equals 20 minutes. Now, as far as screensaver in your Fire Stick, it will have the options of 5, 10, 15 minutes or never. And if you have the 5 minutes selected, that's 300,000 milliseconds. So before you start getting into everything, while you got the ADB program downloaded and all, you want to get your milliseconds of the time you want to program it to your Fire Stick. So get you out a piece of paper and say you want your screensaver to come on at 1 minute. So I got right here, this will also be in the description below, but all you have to do is go into Google and type in minutes to milliseconds. See it right there. And if you search that, it will bring you to this page, and it'll give you this little calculator right here. So say you want your screensaver to come on at 1 minute. Type in 1. It's going to give you how many milliseconds that is. A millisecond, 1,000 milliseconds equals 1 second. So 1 minute is 60,000. A half a minute, 30 seconds, is 30,000. 10 seconds, 10,000, so forth. So get that number you want for your screensaver. Now, as far as the sleep timer, I got mine set at for 120 minutes, which is 2 hours. So if you put in, you got minutes, 2 hours, you want to do 2 hours, that's going to be 120 minutes. Now it's going to give you this calculation right here. 7.2 to the 6 exponent, or however you say that. I'm not quite sure. But all you're doing is moving that decimal point over 6 places. So I'm going to try to demonstrate that for you. You can write it down on a piece of paper, or you can do it how I'm typing out here. So let's just clear this out. We're going to start blank. So that was 7.2 to the 6. So what I'm doing, 7 was first number before the decimal. So I'm not putting a decimal now. And this is going to be, each number I put in now is going to be moving that decimal place to the end. So that's 7. Then that put in 2 is moving it one place, 72. Now we're going to move it 5 more times. So we're just going to add zeros after this to keep moving the decimal point. So the 2 is the first time, moving it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you see how that basically moved that decimal point from that 7.2 to the end of this, and that gives you 120 minutes. That is 7,200,000 milliseconds. I hope that kind of makes sense. I ain't the best at explaining math, but right, that if say you want it to sleep at 120 minutes, 2 hours, this is going to be your milliseconds. Write that number down. If you want to go to sleep at 1 hour, 60 minutes, that'll be your number there. 3.6, moving it over to the 6th place. So 3, typing in 6, moving it once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 3,600,000 milliseconds equals 1 minute. And you just keep going for it so far. If you don't ever want it to sleep, I think the furthest you can go out is 24 days is what I read. Say you want to do it 5 days. There you go. You do the same thing with that. Got that 4, 3 would be the moving it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That gives you 5 days. So I hope that kind of explains that part of it. So get your sleep timeout, time that you want it set for. Write it down in minutes, hours, days, and then your screensaver timeout, and just use this calculator to get your milliseconds. And like what I said, the link to this site will be in the comments, in the description down below. So once you're done with all that, then you can go ahead and start installing the ADB program into your computer. Once you have it installed in your computer, then go to your command prompt. You can go down here and type in command prompt and bring it up that way. What I do is on your keyboard, hit the Windows button and press R. That'll bring up the run screen. Put in CMD, enter, and that will bring up the command prompt. And here's how you can tell if you have the ADB software installed correctly on your computer. Once you get to the command prompt, type in ADB version and hit enter, and it should bring down, it'll tell you Android debug bridge, and it'll give you the version number. If you type that in and you don't have it on your computer, it'll come up with that something to the effect that that command is not found. So if you see this Android debug bridge version and the version number, then you're good to go. Alright, at this point we know that the ADB program's installed successfully into the computer. Before we go any further, there's a couple things. First of all, go ahead and double check to make sure your computer and your Firestick is connected to the same Wi-Fi connection. Also, I want to show you a couple lists of the commands that we'll be using in the command prompt. This first list is the commands that we'll use to connect the ADB program in the command prompt to the Firestick. If you want to pause this video here and take a screenshot or write them down, that'll be fine. The second list, these are the commands that we'll use to change the screensaver and the sleep times. As I said before, you can take screenshots or write these down, but you'll also see me inputting them into the command prompt. Let's go to the command prompt. First thing we're going to type in adb kill dash server. Press enter. Next thing we're going to type adb start dash server. Enter. Give it a second. All right. Next thing we need to do, we're going to type in adb space connect space, and now you're going to type in the IP address that you looked up on your Firestick. Mine is this, but yours may be different. Once you have it typed in, press enter, and it'll say connected. Now this is optional, but we're going to double check to make sure it is connected. So we're going to type in adb devices, and it shows us that device with that IP address typed in, so we know we're connected. All right, now we're going to go into changing the screen off time, which is when the screensaver comes on. By now, I hope you got your milliseconds figured up, and this is what you'll be using instead of my number. We're going to type in adb shell settings put system screen underscore off underscore time out space, and now this is where you're going to put your number that you want your time to be in milliseconds in this place. For demonstration purposes, I want it to come on at 3 seconds. So 3 seconds is 3,000 milliseconds. Once you got that number typed in, say you was doing 30 seconds. 30 seconds would be 30,000, like that. But I'm going to stick with 3 seconds. Once you got that number typed in, press enter. Now, this is optional too, but you can type this in to double check to make sure that that setting did take into the Firestick. We're going to type in adb shell settings get system screen underscore off underscore timeout. Then press enter. And then it'll give you that value right up under it. And you can see there is 3,000. So it did take. Alright, next we want to change the sleep time. Me personally, I'm going to have mine set for 2 hours. But whatever time you want, have that millisecond number written down. And let's go ahead and set it. We're going to type in adb shell settings put secure sleep underscore timeout. Then put a space after that, and then type in your millisecond number there. I'm going to have mine set for 2 hours. The 2 hours is 7,200,000 milliseconds. 7,200,000. Then press enter. And then this is also optional. It's just like what we did with the screensaver. We're going to double check to make sure that the Fire Stick took that setting. We're going to type in ADB shell settings get secure sleep underscore timeout. And press enter. And then right up under there, you can see that value's right up under it. So now you have successfully changed the times in it. Now we need to get everything disconnected. So what we're going to do is type in ADB disconnect. And now we're going to type in the IP address for your Fire Stick. Once you have that type in, hit enter. And then to double check and make sure it's disconnected, type in ADB devices. Hit enter. And you can see the list, and it doesn't have anything listed under it. So now we're good. Now we need to kill the server. ADB kill dash server. Hit enter. And that's all it is to it. I know that presentation was kind of long and drawn out, but I wanted to break everything down and explain it well enough to where you could follow along and be successful in doing this. And I hope that you found this easy to follow along with. If you remember, I set mine to 3 seconds, so we're going to try it out and see if it does go back. I'll wake it up right here. Let's give it a few seconds and see what it does. There it goes back to the screensaver. So it did work. I like doing this better than having 5, 10, or 15 minutes. I'm not going to leave it at 3 seconds. I just did 3 seconds so it'd be quick to demonstrate on video. I'm going to put mine around 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. But you see there it worked. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.